There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
Introducing CMA Industry Week Spring Showcase 2021, a multi-day online event slated for March 22nd to April 1st, featuring all the major Canadian 12-volt electronics distributors presenting in both English and in French. The schedule will feature in-depth interviews, training sessions, keynote speakers, product unveilings, and much more. Access to CMA Industry Week will be completely free for all retailers and industry professionals. Choose to watch both live or on demand. Stay connected by visiting CanadianMobileAudio.com/industry week.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Tommy with Ground Zero USA. Today we're bringing you my 2018 Toyota Camry. With this car being my daily driver, we decided to go with a plutonium setup for speakers and subs using the plutonium 3-ways up front and the plutonium 10-inch subs in the rear, while utilizing 2 of our uranium 6 channels to be completely active, one for the left and one for the right. With all that being said, what we wanted to do was maintain a everyday driver, give you that sound quality capability in it. In the rear, we have a nice little custom setup, thanks to the guys at Audio Source in Columbus, Indiana.
What's going on, guys? It's your host, Ben Wu, here for another midweek lunch hour learning session, CMA Connected, of course. And judging from that video, we're in for a treat because today we have on the menu a brand that is relatively new in Canada, distributed by BB Distribution, no less. And that's called Ground Zero, and their slogan, German Engineering. Tommy Spears, of course, that we had on a recent CMA live show showing off his personal whip, which looks pretty darn sweet. Reference class audio in there. And yeah, definitely didn't cut any quarters. All right, so who do we got on to help me out? None other than my boy, Justin Bond, coming in live from E-Town. What's going on, Just?
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Ah, man, you know, we're about to do our due, but cool one, you know, new brand.
Totally. Super
exciting.
Brand.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
I want to learn about it. I'll admit, I don't know too much about it. I mean, I learned what I learned the time that I had, you know, on air with Tommy the other night, with live. But I'm really hoping that we dive in a little bit, you know, just one-on-one. We get to talk about whatever we want to talk about. But I'm really hoping that we get a little bit of the story behind the DNA of what Ground Zero is, just to establish it as, you know, where does it sit within, you know, the market.
Yeah, I mean, Ground Zero is a very interesting brand as to exactly kind of what they do. We partnered with Ground Zero just kind of beginning of last year with obviously a huge launch plan ahead. COVID kind of took its way on that. So it's really exciting for us, especially with you guys, right? And Industry Week to kind of have that chance to kind of relaunch Ground Zero in a complete online environment that's safe for everyone right now. So, you know, having Tommy on the previous broadcast and then this broadcast today, I just kind of look at them as like a little bit of teasers for the industry for people to kind of begin to get to know Ground Zero. You know, the dealers who are currently familiar with it are using it. You know, you're seeing it blow up all over the United States right now. You know, shops like Mobile Toys are going crazy on it. The success that we've had in Canada already with current dealers is it's really awesome. Actually, as soon as you get it, you know what I mean? The second you get a chance to try a piece, and yeah, we'll learn a bit more about that, but just the company itself is just really, really fun. And Ben, you and I talk a ton about this being an excitement-based industry, right? I mean, we're not selling organs and hearts here.
There's absolutely nothing that we sell that you need per se.
Correct, right? But I mean, Ground Zero is that fun in car audio again, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a super.
I'll tell you what. We got a taste test. So let's establish the baseline here. We understand that it's got a lot of girth, I think was the term that was used as far as the product offering. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
But everything from what Ground Zero considers entry level all the way up to like upper echelons of hi-fi, SQ, or you can go the other direction, SPL, and then even competition pro. So it can go many ways. And of course, during this episode in particular, we're not going to be able to, really identify every single, brand detail. However, we do have somebody from Ground Zero that's going to help us at least shed some light as to the brand identity. And let's bring that gentleman on right now. His name is Jacob Brown. He represents, of course, Ground Zero USA. What's going on, Jacob?
Same stuff, different day. Just trapped here in the Midwest.
Yeah. We all are. But you know what? The highlight of my day is when I get to talk about fun stuff that we don't need, but what we want. And that's what we're about to do. So I'm sure you heard Justin and I kind of preface what we want to talk about today. We're really hoping that you can help shed some light to give the folks listening a really solid understanding of what Ground Zero is all about.
I will do what I can. The biggest thing that we look at as far as manufacturing car audio brands, everything along those lines, for us is pedigree. The establishment of the brand. We're not new to the table per se. We're new to North America, kind of in a roundabout way. So one of the things that I really kind of like to talk about that a lot of other people either forget, maybe didn't really know, or heard small snippets of it is the fact that we are originally a North American brand. This company started in Los Angeles. Yeah, with kind of one of the first named production version of an extremely high throw, high roll surround subwoofer. So, we got our start in something that we're still doing today, just kind of in a different location. So this whole thing is like a full circle back to, reintroducing the brand where our roots originally started. So this company has done, got their name in high throw subwoofers, got their name in high end amplifiers, and then kind of made a transition. At that point, somebody said, hey, you know what, we're kind of done. And our current umbrella is now where we are. So Ground Zero started as GZ Engineering, was bought by the current owners, and is now Ground Zero. So we start the rebuild process from there based out of Germany.
Okay, so I didn't know that, Justin, but so apparently, Ground Zero started in the States.
Yep.
Got their name in like these SPL high level output subwoofers made in USA, no less, right? And then got purchased, I guess, from this the Now holdings company.
Correct.
And is complete. Now, how long have they been based in Germany now?
25 years. So it's been established as a dominant factor in the European market, Russian market, pretty much everywhere else in the world. We are distributed in 65 countries. So we are one of the world's largest car audio manufacturers and engineering.
Interesting. I was just going to say, we had I'm looking at some of the comments, and it seems like there's some international following here. So yeah, everything you're saying is definitely falling in line. You're talking about Germany. Let's focus on that for a second. Let's make sure we understand. When you say it's based in Germany, what is going on in Germany?
So our company headquarters, R&D team, engineers, everything is based out of Germany, just outside of Munich. So kind of the Austrian side of the world, the beer capital of the world. That's really where our company is based out of. So what we do there is the warehousing, the entire operations team is there. Our audio engineers are dominantly there. We have a couple spread out across the U.S. or across the world with regard to that. So we look at it as a whole picture of what we do, but it's headquartered, right there in a small little town outside of Munich.
Does that mean the design, the engineering? Because I know you guys cover. We're going to get into it, of course, but I mean everything from, because there's speakers, there's amps, different categories, right? But also DSP circuitry and that type of thing. Is that all done there?
So the way that our company works as an engineering firm is we have manufacturing partners all across the world. Okay. So what the team in Germany is there for is the overall design or the fine tuning or custom tailoring or redesign of products either currently on our lineup or things that we want to bring in. So it's in that team, in that area is, amplifier testing and design, speaker testing and design. But we do work with other design teams and manufacturers from all across the world. So it's kind of it's basically just like what we're doing here now is what we do in Germany for a good part of it.
Okay. I don't know, Justin, you have anything to add that's important for this story? Because obviously the clear message is it's interesting. It's kind of like a hybrid company. I don't know if I can really relate or compare it to anything else that I've come across, whereby, roots in North America, now, in Europe, and now the final product is maybe a blend of both DNA strands, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, Ground Zero is unique in that way for sure. And, they do still manufacture products in Germany as well. In certain lineups within kind of their very robust lineup. But I mean, regardless of, let's talk about China as just the manufacturing hub of the world right now. I mean, when people look at an iPhone, they think a lot of people think of it as one of the, best quality engineered piece of electronics out there. And that, still being Eastern manufactured, all comes down to the components, quality control, and the implemented processes that are in there with that. They still do have hand-built products done in Germany, but I mean, like Jacob said, the presence of Ground Zero and the spectrum and the array of products they have is so vast that, unfortunately, not everything can be made in Germany, right? But I mean, just because it's considered a piece for the volume market doesn't mean that it doesn't go through the same rigorous process and design and testing that the stuff in Germany does. And I think that helps establish the kind of brand confidence within Ground Zero. I mean, to date, I've used a lot of amplifiers, and I've personally never got to hear higher than anything in the uranium lineup, and I mean, just uranium right now is, it's phenomenal. Everything from fit, finish, usability in that amp is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I can test. I've spent some time with Justin in the last video, and he keeps on talking about that. So for those listening, you're hearing Justin refer to a couple of the lines that the way that Ground Zero, I guess, names their lines is all based on the periodic table. So you'll hear terms like plutonium or uranium or hydrogen and so on and so forth. And I think we have an image here, Jacob. If you don't mind, maybe this could be a good tool to help us understand the breakout of the lines within the Ground Zero brand. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that up, and I'll let you go from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we have to look at as a company, you might see certain brands do what their definition of good, better, best is. This is what they feel is important. Situations like that, and what you realize is that okay, they might have just that, a good, better, best, but they might not cover all of the spectrum for the various parts of the industry. So as you had mentioned, SPL, SQ, entry level / kind of a more universal fit and feel. So that's one of the things that we really try and do with Ground Zero is cover the bases for being able to custom tune a line or fine tune a line to fit your retail needs. So when you look at this, basically what this does is this kind of talks about how the industry is broken up for the most part. So you've got your volume market, as Justin referenced earlier. Nothing wrong with volume market products. Those are your entry level to mid-level areas. You start to transition into the advanced, which is then broken up to like SQ, SPL, and kind of generic, and then your more specialized parts of the market. So, certain brands might, cater down one side of the pyramid. Another company or group of manufacturers might, custom tailor towards the other, and you don't really have that bridge between the two. So that's one of the things that I really like, and I know that that's one of the things that Justin is a huge fan of with this is, we kind of try and cover the whole market with our product line, so that way you can sell ground zero and not just sell, part of this and part of that and part of this and part of that.
This actually really helps. Thank you so much, Jacob, for providing this image. So as you can see on the left, there is a ton of lineup. I mean, the average, this is just me, no actual facts behind what I'm about to say, but I feel just from experience, most companies have 2, 3, maybe 4 product ranges, right? Obviously, this is a little bit more at length and in depth. So my question to Justin, what does this mean for the Canadian dealer who's looking at this when you're looking at a line like this, and how would you best describe, or straight up, how do you sell it to a dealer? Like, what is the takeaway here?
So the takeaway on something like this is effectively solution based. Through the vast kind of majority and categories that Ground Zero covers, they offer a solution to almost any sort of customer that you're looking at. And once I said, once you see the quality and hear the speakers or hear the products, they kind of don't make sense for the dollar value for what you're getting. You know what I mean? When you
Tommy had mentioned that. Tommy totally mentioned that in my interview with him, and he had said, like, our pricing usually freaks people out once they actually hear or touch and feel the product.
Yeah, exactly. And the biggest thing is, when you see that pyramid is, I'll be honest completely. I'm an SQ guy, and SPL and ESPL stuff is new to me, but it's really cool from a distribution standpoint to see all these dealers kind of coming out of the woodwork, engaging with us in a different way, saying, hey, like, I heard you guys are doing Ground Zero. Can you tell me a bit about Ground Zero? I heard they make these badass subwoofers. I heard this, I heard that. So it's exciting on that point. But the biggest thing is they literally cater to any sort of specialty market any store could use right now. Whether it is on the line of an OEM style integration speaker or a volume-based type speaker to high-end SQ to crazy 100-pound, 15-inch subwoofers, there's over 400 SKUs in the Ground Zero kind of product line, and they cater to everything that you could need or want, really, in car audio.
Yeah, it really is one of those things too, that one of the things that we've noticed is, because of how elaborate, so to speak, the brand is, what we've noticed is a lot of these smaller, SQ guys or an SPL guy maybe kind of make that transition or that bridge when they're not having to reach out to another manufacturer. So now you're able to qualify your customer a little bit differently to be able to say, oh, so you secretly are kind of a base head, but you really like what Ground Zero has to offer. Well, let's transition you into maybe a more SPL style or more power hungry speaker that will give you a little bit more output and kind of cure that itch. So that's one of the things that I know that I've been working with Justin on is being able to kind of bring that to a dealer's mind, being able to say, hey, Mr. Customer, are you sure you only want 110? Okay, if that's what you're saying you want, let's step it up a little bit and maybe move into something that still has phenomenal sound quality, but now we're getting you that a little bit extra output. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the thing is, with Ground Zero, kind of, especially enlightening my eyes and this with the dealers, it doesn't really have to be one or the other anymore, right? That might say, like, doesn't have to be, well, I only care about SQ or I only want SPL. Ground Zero makes enough products in their lineup that you can build, an ideal stereo with kind of any sort of want in mind. Like, make no mistake, when I say this stuff is tested, it's tested very well, and it's all done in Germany as well. Can you talk a little bit about the testing there, Jacob?
Oh yeah, one of the things that we really do is, it's not so much that we give you a frequency response chart and say, hey, this is what this speaker does. We actually utilize a Klippel laser measurement system. So the big advantage of that is, we are driving every speaker or every speaker design to the nines, trying to figure out what it can really do, just to make sure that, if we're going to release something, we know how it's going to behave. We know how to model it. We know how to bring it to you guys to say, hey, this is really what we're working with. And then on the flip side of that, not just speakers, but we do the same thing with amplifiers. So you look at audio precision, you've got now real world testing of amplifiers that's really going to show you, here's how it's going to behave, here's what it's going to do. Here's its distortion numbers. Here's, what it does when it's loaded, when it's partially loaded. So really we try and bring you guys a product that we know works, but at the same time too, we're able to back it up with information to be able to say, this is what it's going to do.
I know that there was another chart here, and I think this is a good segue to bring it up right now. I'm going to bring that up here. This is kind of a follow-up to the first pyramid chart, but a little bit different in the messaging here, Jacob.
Yeah, the big thing about this one is basically what we're running into now is we're kind of showing you guys how our products fit into that pyramid that we were talking about before. And what we run into is, you see volume market, that's where you're looking at our iridium and maybe even kind of our radioactive line to a point, where we start to transition from kind of the iridium all-encompassing go-to entry-level line up into where we start our stair step of product quality. So the big thing about that is this kind of shows you and helps you understand where our product line fits into the really different segments of the market. And I know that when you look at a product line that's as elaborate as Ground Zero, it's hard to wrap your head around, well, between this speaker and this speaker, what's the difference? Well, it's not just a material difference or a cost difference. It's actually, let's say, a segment change. So as you move up the line, maybe this speaker does something far better than what we're stepping down from, or the next, step above, so that we can really, again, it goes back to that custom tailoring a product lineup to your store. I am, as I mentioned, a firm believer in the good, better, best, but a product lineup that's this elaborate really does give you guys the ability to say, okay, I know what's good, better, best for my store. I really love the products that are brought to market by Ground Zero. Let's pick through that line, pick exactly the stuff that's going to work for us, that's going to go to, the desired result that what we are trying to accomplish as a retailer. And again, the other big thing is, like we had talked about, it kind of brings in that ability to say, well, you know what, this is what I do, but maybe I want to dabble over here a little bit, or I want something here mixed with this. So you're getting to make your own, portion of this pyramid.
I'm going to chime in here real quick. So this is how I feel based on listening to what you're saying and these charts. This could be an opportunity from a full range type of brand that you could build brand loyalty with over time, because it feels like there's many entry points that you can come in depending on the type of customer, whether it's a noob or somebody that may have had a basic system before, and you can get them in on that, what you're calling the not your average entry level, right? And really grow with the brand. And I think that's interesting, because most brands, the pyramid ain't that high. Is that fair to say? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, most brands, it's more of a triangle. Like, I'm just going to take this off. I want people to understand what I'm saying here. Most brands, the triangle looks like this, right? You got a lot of stuff on the bottom, and there is a peak, but it's not that elevated. There's not that many levels to the peak. Whereas if you look at your chart looks a lot more like this, meaning there's many more layers, more levels to it to get to that upper echelon destination, which could be something to strive for a lot of enthusiasts.
Well, and I think one thing that's often kind of not really thought about is this. At the end of the day, no retailer wants to say no to a customer, right? So what happens? Well, you're a brand A dealer, okay? You're very faithful to brand A. That's where you've been. That's where you've run your store for the last 25 years. Now you got this customer coming in for something that's completely not only outside not outside your wheelhouse, but outside of the product range that you carry. So what do? Well, you get on the horn with your distributor or someone else, and now you're looking at bringing in this random brand because this customer wants this, and this is the brand that you think is available, that you have no history with, no experience with. You don't know what their warranty is like. You don't know what their performance is like. All you know is what you've read on the internet. Well, with Ground Zero, you don't really ever have to say no, because no matter what kind of customer you get looking for what signature sound that they need, there's going to be something in the lineup that's going to fit to them. So you start off with 2 or 3 lines of Ground Zero speakers, and you're headed in that SQ direction, and that's what you focus on. That's what your shop's doing. But you have a customer that wants to do a 412 build with 20,000 watts, whatever. That's also available to you in a brand that you're doing. that you've already become confident and comfortable with, that you know how it operates, you know how it works, you know how you buy it and where you buy it from, right? But that option is there to just make sure that you never have to turn the customer away or send them somewhere else.
Well said. Well said. Jacob, I got some questions for you, or one question for you. So I know that during Industry Week, we're going to dissect it, by series, right? And we're going to talk about the pros and cons, or not the pros and cons, but, what you get every time you level up, right? But looking at this from 10,000 feet, dealers looking at this episode, he's starting to understand a little bit more of the ground zero theme and the DNA, like we always say. If you had to use 3 words to describe ground zero, what would those 3 adjectives be as far as the brand?
Versatile, exciting, and complete.
Well done.
And for me, I think those are the 3 big ones. It's one of the most versatile lines that's completely represented. It's Justin had mentioned earlier, it brings excitement back to an industry that we've all been part of for a very long time. And complete, it's not just that it's versatile. This is your solution for your customer. You sell ground zero, the customer, you've already sold them you. Now you sell them the product. And now you've basically associated, let's use BB distribution, for example, BB distribution and ground zero. It's not necessarily this, that, and that to complete your car. And that's, for me, really the biggest thing coming from a background in car audio.
Anything you'd like to say to that statement there, Justin?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you would have asked me that question, I would have asked you to define adjective.
Which is why I didn't ask you the question.
Perfect. No, I mean, I don't know how many times we can kind of say it to hit it home, but let's just talk base facts, man. The lineup is fun. The lineup sounds amazing. It's great. It's just full. It's full of excitement, full of products, full of good quality. It's an unbelievable lineup, and it's a lot of fun, and we look forward to having a ton of fun in the Canadian industry with it.
Okay, let's get real for the last few minutes here. So what is the physical standing of the product right now as far as deliverables, and kind of like what should dealers be expecting? Set this up for me, Justin, not only for the next, obviously for the next few weeks, but also what are we looking to do during Industry Week?
This is Industry Week is kind of going to be the official launch of Ground Zero. We do have a brand new kind of display program in effect. We got a couple different displays. I think Jacob actually has one of the displays in his shop right now, if he wants to give us a little swivel.
Oh, what's this?
So,
right.
Very simplistic, very easy to use, has an auto demo program on it, which is really cool, which shows you the difference in the speakers. And then we have larger displays for different dealers as well. But it's exciting, and there's in stock in Canada. We're doing. So
wait, the displays are already ready to go?
Yep.
So displays, inventory, we're ready to roll this thing out.
Yeah, and just for the record, there are some pieces that are special order when it gets into the reference series of things. But
what do you mean? You don't have like 40 of those in stock ready to ship?
You know what? I'm jumping down the day that I get to sell one of those and come do the tuning and install on it. It'll be fantastic.
I'm gonna, my comment to all this is it definitely seems like it's an exciting brand with a rich history, pedigree, culture, a unique background with the, starting in the US and being in Germany. I think that makes it very, very unique. But I also think this could be a brilliant opportunity for certain retailers with a new line like this coming into the market. But it's not just a small line. It's not a new line. It comes packing. So
yeah, it's complete.
It's definitely complete, and it could represent a very interesting opportunity for select dealers. There's no question in my mind. I'm going to leave you last words, Jacob. Any last message you'd like to convey?
I think I'm just going to circle back to the kind of excitement conversation. I've worked with Justin for a long time, and really he and I have both been able to like geek out about Ground Zero, and for me that really is one of the fun things about this brand is being able to work with a bunch of products that everything I've played with does something incredibly well. It's not just like, oh, here's the next, or here's the next, or here's the new, or whatever. It's everything that I've gotten to play with, everything that I've heard, the demo board, working with prototypes and getting to hear some of the things this is what's in the works. This is what we're working on. It's really just, it's a line, it's a brand, it's an everything that you could possibly want that is growing in a way that car audio should be growing. So for me, it's just, it's exciting.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, thank you enough for your time. Definitely looking forward to spending a lot more time with you as we dive in deep on every periodic table brand, brand line. And I really wanted to see the differences between each of them. So I think everybody's going to be pretty excited to hear about that. Thank you for your time today, Jacob.
Not a problem. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, he's pretty knowledgeable. I like that dude.
Yeah, I worked with Jacob a little bit before. He was with Ground Zero too, so it was really kind of easy for us to talk shop and get down to the brass taxes of certain things. He's a no BS guy, and yeah, it's easy. And when you have when you have partners instead of just vendors, it makes things way easier, right? Communication and everything. So
100%. And on that note, obviously coming up on Industry, BB's got an entire day and then some of content to go through, of course, including Ground Zero product as well. But if you are interested in getting more information on Ground Zero products in Canada, of course, contact BB Distribution, 1-800-279-0636, or visit bbdistribution.ca, as you see down on the bottom. Justin, can't thank you enough. This was a fun one, but I'm ready to get past the packaging and get into the goods on the inside. So that's sure. That's what's next for Ground Zero and us during Industry Week.
Yeah, we'll spend a lot of time together, man.
Yeah, oh, I know. I'm counting on it. All right, buddy. You have a good one.
Thanks again.
There you have it, guys. Another CMA Connected, brand new brand in Canada, Ground Zero, courtesy of BB Distribution. Let's see. We got another one this Friday. We're going in with STP Canada, which is going to be pretty cool. And you may have noticed, if you check out our Facebook page, we just released our full broadcast schedule for Industry Week. It is over 100+ hours of original mobile electronics content with 100+ brands presenting. It is unprecedented. I will literally be eating, sleeping in this chair in front of the screen with you guys for 9 days straight. And we're going to go top to bottom, get it all done, get you guys all caught up on everything you need to know to get, be ready for the 2021 season. So that's it. Thanks for joining me again on the CMA Connected. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Big thanks to Jacob Brown from Ground Zero for showing up today. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Till next time, we connect.